my favorite parts of this car is actually pressing this button and then doing this. It is bananas fast. It is so fast, and it sounds so good. And by now, you're probably sitting there like, what the hell are you even driving? It's brutal. I'm telling you, like, this car has made me love Aston in a whole new way. One that I never imagined I would love Aston in. So you see, for the longest time, I've been a huge advocate of Aston Martin and have spoken very highly of their cars for what they were, like understated masterpieces, or so I call them. Just an incredibly younger gentleman's version of a Bentley, right? But today Aston Martin is becoming a very different brand. I mean, you can see that they're trying very hard to adopt a younger audience that is more adaptive, expects more technology, and more importantly, is a little bit flashier than the old 60-year-olds that were buying Astons back in the day. And I think Rolls-Royce figured this out really well, and Aston is doing the same, and Bentley is following along, with the Bentley GT being one of the best upgrades from where it was to where it's going out of any exotic car. But there is something about the Aston Martin DBS that's always been somewhat of an icon. Obviously, from the awesome times in the Bond movies to even the idea that having a prestigious Aston Martin was such an expensive and unreachable thing to so many. To so many people, it is on the same level, especially in the crowds or in the regular markets, it is on the same level as having a Lamborghini. And it is a big deal. It's like the Bentley's cool, but like the Lamborghini or Aston is crazy. The McLaren's even crazier. So there is this disconnect for people and the affordability of an Aston Martin. And I've shown in countless videos how that was the case. But this new DBS is just amazing. I mean, it is nuts. I mean, listen to this. Just listen. I just want you to hear this out. Listen to this. And then everything from the brakes to the motor, and that's not even in race mode. That's only in sports, in regular sport mode. And then you go to like Sport Plus, and it even opens it up even more. It's brutal fast. It's extremely enjoyable. And here's the best part. Listen to this now. I'm going to put these windows up. I'm going to go here to normal mode. I'm going to go to normal, non-crazy suspension mode. And then look at this. I'm just driving chill. Like, there's no bumps. It's perfect. Just quiet. Just drives great. Just enough noise. Not too much. You can have a good conversation in the car. And it's just beautiful. And they really went to town even on the inside. I mean, you can really see from the gauges and everything else how pretty it is. I mean, it is pretty. There is, however, one problem. Just one big problem with this car. I can't figure out how to fucking do anything in it. Everything is so fucking complicated. Like, everything looks bizarre. Like, you have all these features here. I want to point out something. This mode here with the little buttons is how you move the volume up. What the fuck? Like, why does it have so many buttons in so many places and nothing looks like a button? Everything looks like just part of a screen. So this, you press up, you see, and then that appears. So that gives you your AC controls here. Here you have more AC controls, which is weird. You don't even know why. And then here you have all this condensed shit between your parking sensors to everything else. But here's the worst part. So let's say you turn this on. You have that beautiful screen, and then you have to press this button again to bring the volume down. That's stupid. And then let's say you want to change just the radio, right? We're here, and we want to change the radio. So you can use this knob here, you see, to turn, or you can use this. But it's just, I feel like it's so fucking complicated. And the reason I say this complicated, because I think this is one of the issues with trying to adopt to a new customer base, right? The issue is that, and I gotta go straight, I'm going the wrong way. The issue is that when you try to adopt to a new customer base, one of the problems is that you have a gap of time between when your new customers that are younger are gonna be older and how young they are at the time they're buying the car. And I feel like the technology in this car, like the tech, is too Mercedes-ish, and I think that's where it came from, because it's very AMG-ish. It came from there, and it's just, it just doesn't work. Like, I think it's too complicated to get something good going in terms of actual functionality. And I think that's the biggest issue with this car. And I will point out one other flaw, because I'm going to show you what makes it superb in just a second outside of that speed thing I showed you. There is one other flaw, and I promise you that's basically the only other flaw, is that if you touch the leather, if you touch the materials, it's beautiful looking, but it doesn't have the feel that the old one had. One of the things that I love the most about the old Vanquish and all of the old Astons is they had a feel of handmade, custom-made, one-of-a-kind, very sturdy, very strong, like the Bentleys. And now you get a lot of this plasticky side of things that just looks very Mercedes-ish. You even lose the crystal key for this button like the old days, and you still retain a boring transmission that's basically an automatic hiding as a manual, which really isn't like an e-gear or anything else. But other than that, I mean, do you really care when you can do this? Look at this. Oh, nothing happened. Nope, I tried. Nope, you see? No responsive, doesn't work. I tried, it didn't go up. And again, it goes back to the Mercedes side of things. You hit the brakes, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work as good. You hit the accelerator, the turbos kick in, they don't kick in, they work, they don't work. All of these things come. But again, like I always say, when you do get it to work, it's just bananas fast. And it's really, really pretty inside out. How pretty? Let's take a look. I mean, let's get the obvious out of the way. Come over here. It's fucking beautiful, right? Like, holy shit. Have you seen a better design car in the last, like, 5 years? It's freaking beautiful. Like, every part of it, every angle is just so pretty. This is a pearl white DBS, and it has every carbon option necessary, and it just looks amazing. So you have the pearl white paint, carbon fiber, entire roof in carbon all the way down to the pillars, the entire rear in carbon, and it's just beautiful. I think it's so beautiful that it's like, I know it's going to sound weird, but the best way to describe this car is that it's a peaceful tornado. You might be wondering, well, how the hell does that work? Because a tornado is pretty devastating. And I think that's how this car works. It's beautiful inside, and all aspects of it just bring so much beauty, but it's so badass when you drive it that it has the other side of it. So, you know, ceramic brakes standard, all carbon is optional, but a lot of the rest of it is basically what the car is. So, you know, I've always spec'd my cars with a lot of beauty when it comes to the outside. You've seen me talk about doing carbon fiber in and out, and of course doing a lot of the option things. But I think one of the things that comes even more with this car is you almost have to, because if you don't, you lose what it has, which is that beauty that a lot of other cars don't have. Because in this dollar range, you have to understand that you could have either an 812 Superfast or a DBS Superleggera. And I think the 812 Superfast is a better car and a better bargain at 300 plus K. But I think the DBS is a much prettier car. And I think more importantly, once it depreciates, because we know British cars depreciate significantly heavier than Ferraris, it does make for a better bargain in the twos. Now, if you look at this, if you're going to be buying one, there are some features that you absolutely have to have no matter what, no compromise. Let's take a look at those. First off, I think every Aston should have this forged carbon logo option. And I think every Aston should have the carbon fiber vent pack and the carbon fiber front pack. In addition to that, I believe that one of the key features of this car that a lot of people miss is this carbon fiber roof. It is absolutely breathtaking in person. It's just breathtaking. And look at the design from the rear. It's just beautiful. It took everything that made the Vantage and the DB11 not work, and it got rid of it. And instead, it made it absolutely beautiful. They just figured out how to really take the best of the world and bring it to life. And I think the results are just astonishing. I mean, we're gonna take a closer look at this, but I wanna show you one thing on the design that didn't make it true quality control. It's this ugly ass key. This is the replacement, what I was telling you inside the car, to the beautiful crystal key, which is absolutely hideous and not at all warranting of the beauty of this car. And if it opened, it would help. It doesn't even open. You see, I gotta get this fucking thing. This is why I fucking hate Mercedes cars, because they ain't ever fucking work the right way. So I want to show you this because I want to show you the back. You'll see that the entire bottom opens out. And look at the trunk space. It's similar to a Bentley. You got some good space. You still got your umbrella. You still have, you know, all your books and stuff that come with it. And this was about a 380K spec. But outside of that, I mean, it is pretty much an Aston per se. And I think that one of the things it does really well is the design of it takes and elevates Aston Martin to that glorious, beautiful place it's always been. But I think that it's now more fuck you than ever before. It just doesn't have the same classiness as it used to have. You see the doors kind of arch up, no different than the previous cars. You see they're kind of butterfly, but they're kind of not. That's been a signature move since the Vantage days. And I think it's just brilliant inside out. So if I had to rank this car, I would say that it is a lot better than a Bentley GT. However, I will say that the new Bentley GT is a better bargain in the low 2s to high 1s. Once you go in the 3s, you get a lot of car for this, but I don't know that it's as good as the A12 Superfast. So again, you know, I think the DBS is one of the best cars you can buy at 200 to 230. Once you start going into the 3, 4, 500K range based on options, you're now starting to go into the next level. But I will argue that just like the 600 LT, there are two things that you have to consider. The fact that if you go with the Volante, you get a much better, cooler car, but you lose this carbon beautiful roof, which I think almost is the key reason why this car looks so good, is that roof. I think that roof really makes a difference. It's one of the prettiest roof lines ever, and this giant front grille doesn't theoretically work, but it really works in design. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. Just beautiful. I think one of the best bangs for the buck out there for the mid 2s. I think in the 3s it's going to struggle, and I think that's why they've struggled with sales a little bit. But look at it. It's just fucking beautiful. So we're going to enjoy it for a couple of weeks, see if I love it enough to keep it or I dump it. But thanks to Exotic Car Hacks, I don't have to worry. And of course, unlike a lot of people on YouTube, I don't have to borrow cars to do reviews. So there you have it, guys. Exotic Car Hacks review of the DBS Superleggera. This is an incredible car that many of you should experience at least one time in your life. So do not forget to, again, click the link, learn how to hack exotics, and of course, subscribe and like my videos.